I have returned from camping and everything in my body hurts because we slept on a gravel campsite for some godforsaken reason that's illegal. But that means we are back with Lies of P and hopefully gonna get the waifu tier list part 2. That'll include the DS1 characters I missed and the DS2 characters that we're gonna add to the list here soon for y'all. But just give me some time because I've been completely unproductive because I took a little vacation from work. But same thing here, Lies of P, 5 bosses per video, and we're going to start with the first boss of today's video with the King's Flame Fucko. Maybe like King's Flame Fuoko? You know, this shit cooked, who cares? He's a fucking furnace, alright? You just throw the goddamn raw beef in that shit and you get the steak out, boom. Best item to eat in Minecraft, no cap, use that shit. But besides the Minecraft parallels, of course, you know, Minecraft does go beyond any game because it's the greatest thing ever. It is a very cool looking boss, I think. Too sure how to think about it because it's not like a sophisticated thing like a boss that's coming up or one that really even matches the theming beside it being a machine. But I mean, in the realm of creating a boss out of a furnace, I mean, I feel like it's a 10 out of 10. Not much competition there. Maybe like the Home Alone furnace is a little bit scarier, but if this thing was coming after Macaulay Culkin, he would be cooked. And mechanic-wise, it's also a very satisfying boss because it is a goddamn tank. I mean, lots of health, does lots of damage, and also has that bullshit fire move that is going to wipe you out a few times because, like, fucking hell, overheat is a bitch. You gotta fucking spam the purification immediately, or you're taking half your goddamn health. Definitely kind of the next skill check in the game, as like Puppet of the Future and the Survivor are just kind of like, meh, you can kind of gimmick them away because you can just block for the Survivor or just roll or just walk away from the Puppet of the Future. But this guy's aggressive, he has range, he has all the melee you could ever ask for, and he has a lot of AoE, so pretty good mix of a boss, but he's not going to really beat out the Scrapped Watchman in terms of design and boss fight itself. Cool, but not a whole lot. Better than most of these bosses in the game. His design is still more future than the Future Puppet though. Like imagine having a furnace that can literally like do the cooking for you. It just gotta put that shit in there. Come on. That's dope as shit. Or maybe he can just like, I don't know, chop wood and then put the wood in him so you can always have heat without doing anything. That's better than the Puppet of the Future, which has fucking balls on his hands, never forget. And moving along, we get to the next boss, which is the Atoned. And the Atoned is probably the easiest stalker fight in the game, besides maybe another one that's going to get dropped in this video, because she doesn't really do anything that presents a challenge like other stalkers, and it's an optional thing. You don't even have to fight her. If you choose to lie and say you're a stalker, you can just go by. And that's what I did in this run because I was trying to do my lie run, but I fucked it up later. But I have fought her and there's really nothing to it. She doesn't have a lot of range. She's not fast like the Survivor, and I don't even think she puts on a lot of pressure like the Mad Donkey, especially because that fight was early game, so it was kind of challenging. She uses this pickaxe thing that I'm pretty sure does acid shit, and it's kind of annoying, but it's not like she's covering a lot of ground or really just spamming attacks. She'll fucking do her combo and then kind of just stand there and walk around, or she'll do her red move, which she pauses, charges that bitch up, and then tries to grab you, and so you just fucking sidestep it and then do backslash on her. It's so easy. But it is somewhat worth doing because you get to add that ugly ass dog mask to your arsenal of ugly ass masks. I mean, just think, now you have Mad Donkey and the Atoned. What more could you really fucking ask for? In Lies of P, there's 2 types of things you can do. You can get the drip. You know, I like to wear the Riz sunglasses and a top hat, but sometimes you just want to look like you grew up in like Detroit and you just stole cars on the regular, you know, or you were a fucking bank robber that was formerly a hobo 2 weeks ago. You're just trying to look vile, and honestly, I respect people who do that. We have drip souls, or fashion souls, sorry, and Lies of P, we have, I'm a disgusting Discord mod and I don't know how to use the washer of P. Especially since like the clothing and the masks literally do nothing stat-wise. It is just 100% cosmetic. It really is just about the fashion. And so I don't know why people would want to wear this vile ass shit other than just to be vile, you know? Sure, but Sophia is never gonna hit that dog. You gotta be dripped out, you gotta be rizzed up, and that's how you get the secret sex scene with her in all of its glory. I mean, fuck. I'm about to fucking splooge my ergo all over my goddamn monitor right now. But yeah, just a simply forgettable boss. We can move on to the next boss, which is less forgettable, and that is the fallen Archbishop Andreas. And so you might be thinking, well, it's Andreas, not a great boss fight if you've played it, but it is the first boss fight with 2 phases, so that's cool. But that's not why this boss fight isn't forgettable. I think it comes down to the entire design of this boss. First off, you have the physical design. I mean, this is an eldritch beast, right? When you think of that, you think of something like this. It is a fucking grotesque beast with these blue, corrupted qualities and just covered in filth while also looking somewhat animalistic and humanoid at the same time. And part of that is because it is like a beast merged with the Archbishop Andreas. It's like a lizard frog thing with a fucking religious goddamn figure in that hoe. I don't know how that fucking happens, but hey, bro got corrupted and now he's trying to spread the word of God very aggressively, all right? Look, I went to church and they definitely did not look like this shit when I went, so I'm kind of curious to what church this is. Maybe it's one of those non-denominational ones where they do crazy shit. Bro did some ancient chants and merged into the fucking frog turtle lizard thing that also has like a super powerful blast. I would not want to go to fucking crusade with that bitch. He'd wreck the fuck out of you. And not only is the design cool, but also the pushing of the story, because at the end of this, there is a very cool cutscene that kind of plays into the overall story of Lies of P. All basically the boss ergo souls that kind of powered them up and made them into what they are start to float away and come into this ominous area where all this blue, I'm assuming ergo power is meeting up as one. And at the center of that is a man laughing almost maniacally, a man who is dripped out, a man who's just biding his time sitting in a chair at this area, a man who I know, but you may not know if you haven't played the game, and it's pretty fucking cool. It kind of just sets up further that maybe these things aren't just doing that, right? Like, we know now that there's somebody behind this who's doing this for some ulterior motive, or at least is trying to harness what these things have, and is kind of using you to do that by, you know, maybe pushing you here by doing this. You'll kind of get the bigger picture later, but it is very interesting storytelling by kind of doing some foreshadowing and also just some callback that you'll understand later. I really like this boss fight, not for the gameplay very much because it is just the same in the first phase and second phase mostly if you just stick on one side, but it's a cool looking boss and has a cool little story to tell after. Plus, I think the overall area is pretty cool being in a cathedral and whatnot. It's been done a lot, but I think they kind of nail it, especially with just the overall corruption of it. And well, a Souls-like isn't complete without having terrible boss fights, and so we move to number 9, the eldest of the Black Rabbit Brotherhood. One of the worst fights in this game because it is a gank fest, it is a multi-boss fight, it is an absolute fucking shit show. Basically, to explain the fight, there is one single boss called the Eldest Brother. He's the eldest of 3 of this gang. There's this chick who does corrosive, which is annoying as fuck because once that shit hits the top, you start leaking health and your weapon gets fucked up. Annoying. She's also really fast and tries to dodge a lot. Fuck that. You get the dumbass brother who's wearing this shitty ass paper bag over his head, probably because he's ugly and retarded looking. He just uses a spear. Easiest part of this Brotherhood fight. Alright, don't worry about him ever. Then there's the other brother who has this like little rapier and he's a bitch because he's kind of like the younger sister. He's fast, he's quick, he fucking pokes you. It's annoying, he jumps back. The spear guy's nothing, those two are annoying. And basically how this plays out is the eldest brother with his giant fucking sword attacks you the whole time, and each phase brings in a new member of the Brotherhood. Basically, you start, get the sister, get the brother with the spear, get the brother with the rapier, and you have to knock them out to bring in the other one and to keep the fight going. And you kind of have to kill them because it is so hard to do this fight with 2 of them. Fuck that shit. The eldest brother hits like a goddamn truck. He hits you a lot of times with the combo, and so to have the other characters in there with you, it just does not work at all. All right, trust me on that one. You need to fucking kill them. And so it just becomes a gank fest trying to like single out the younger siblings each time to do it. It's just not very fun. The only like upside to this fight is that you can break the eldest brother's weapon, which really helps range to kind of outspace him because it is hard to outspace him because his weapon's so big. But you cut that shit into like 1/3 of what it is, and it also just lowers the damage by a lot. So part of the strategy is literally fight this without attacking for the first part and just break his weapon. And then once it's broken, you start the fight. Kind of lame. But it is like the real way to beat this shit because fuck trying to do it with this whole ass weapon. Thankfully, I do the parry run, so it wasn't that hard. If you were like not accustomed to parrying, it'd be kind of rough, but some of his attacks are pretty rhythmic, so you can kind of just chain those together. And of course, at the end of it, You don't even kill the 3 younger siblings. You only kill the eldest brother. Wonder what that means. Surely those 3 aren't gonna be up to any fucking trouble later. Yeah, surely. And the final boss of the video is another stalker fight, and it is the White Lady. And first things first, I fuck with the White Lady. One, because that's kind of dripped out, alright? I like the professional look of that white, like, suit with the pants. Pretty lit. Cool looking mask, too, that fits the overall, like, aesthetic of her. You know, seeing what's under that mask could definitely seal the deal with this bitch, but the fight itself, pretty lame. This and the Atoned are probably one of the easier fights of this entire game. The Atoned is probably just a little harder because it's, like, kind of an earlier fight. At this point, you should have that shit down, especially because she kind of fights like the other brother with the rapier, because she also just has a rapier that you can break, but she's even more predictable than him, and she doesn't have like the puppet string he has, which can be annoying, or does any fire. She just kind of spins and then pokes, and it's really easy to time that to break her weapon and just get the stagger on her. I do think she's kind of hard to backstab at least, because she does kind of like jump back a lot after doing the pokes. So that's something, not much lag on her. But I mean, this is one that I first attempted when I first played, first attempted now. So I think it's just one of those fights you really should never struggle with, especially since it is the 10th fight of this game and the game's linear. So this will always be like your 10th fight unless you skip some, like the Atoned or the Survivor. But, you know, this is pretty simple fight. I mean, I don't know what is worse. Probably the Atoned, just because, like, what the fuck is that ugly hoe? Get that dog mask off. You probably fucking smell like that shit too. White Lady, though, clean, pristine, professionally dripped out base. That's all I got for Lies of P today. I am going to try to grind this shit out because I want to get to Elden Ring before the DLC drops, so we can kind of like work that out, since I'm assuming we're all going to be playing that because you guys are like Dark Souls lovers. So hopefully I'm going to try to get uploads more often, but we'll just see how that works. You're going to have to give me a little bit of time since I just got back from camping. But yeah, appreciate y'all for watching. See ya.